Okay, so I wasn't gonna do this video, but I still be having people ask me today, bro, where's the God of War Ragnarok review? You ain't do no review yet for the game. And honestly, I wasn't gonna do a like by the time I beat the game, it was just like, why bother? Because for certain games now, I like remember years prior to where games that like I really was waiting for, and when they came out, I would try to like rush to beat the game to have the review out, within that, week or two. I don't do that no more because a lot of the times for like special games I'm really waiting for, I don't like to rush to beat them. I like to, take my time, enjoy the game. Games cost freaking $70 some times now today. Like I ain't trying to rush to beat a game just to get a review out and get like extra views. I don't care no more. So that's why I really never did my review, because by the time I beat it, it was like a month or so later. I'm like, why bother? But people are still asking, bro, you ain't do no review? I thought this game was your game of the year. So I was like, all right, bro. So I'm gonna do a quick one. I'm gonna do a quick review. But that God of War Ragnarok, my brothers and sisters. So yeah, man. I mean, y'all know me. Like I literally said, I don't know if y'all thought I was trolling or not, but literally within like the first hour or two, I was like, oh yeah, this I was like, oh yeah, this is my game of the year. That first hour or so of this game, just absolutely biblical. Damn, his freaking coat came off.
Look out! The tree coming down!
Get your
Father!
I have you!
man! This is not the Revenant! Uh-oh! This man! Here we go. You already know what's gonna happen now. Oh, is it really about to happen now? Wow, these niggas ain't wasting no time!
Show me this
Wow!
Now we got clean slate. That ain't how it works. You're a
My hands are sweating! No! I won't! What you mean? What?
Oh no. I say when we're done.
Oh, I'm about to say. I'm like, what you mean?
Till I see the real you.
Nah, I gotta pause. Corey Barlog, let me tell you something, brother. They don't make them like you no more. It's rare to get that feeling these days in games. Like, just that, like, I honestly felt like a kid again playing the first hour of God of War. Like, just a cinematic masterpiece going from the gameplay into the cutscenes. Like, there's never a drop in graphics. Like it just seamlessly transitions over from gameplay to the cutscene, to the cutscene to the gameplay. Very rare to get that feeling in games today. And yeah, that intro to God of War Ragnarok was just, I haven't experienced I haven't experienced that feeling literally since I was like a young lad. So, and it's not like once the intro starts, the game just freaking falls off the map. I personally enjoyed the story more in God of War Ragnarok compared to 2018. I feel like that's the thing that like is kind of split. Like I've heard some people say that they enjoyed the story more in God of War 2018. I've heard people say they enjoyed the story more in Ragnarok. I think both stories were great, but overall, especially with all the different characters that they had in Ragnarok, I would say overall I enjoyed the story more in Ragnarok than 2018. Of course, with the additions of Thor and Odin and his family and Brotha and character development to Atreus and how you actually are playing as him now, like all that I just thought was executed greatly in this game. Side quests were better, the environments were more interesting to me, more enemy variety. We all know that that was the main gripe that people had with God of War 2018, that we were just fighting a whole bunch of trolls, right? So in this game they added more enemy variety. The boss fights were better, and like still you had people complaining about stuff. Like it's just crazy to me because literally God of War 2018 won Game of the Year. One Game of the Year, and deservedly so. It won Game of the Year. I mean, you could have gave it to Red Dead Redemption 2 that year, but God of War 2018 won Game of the Year. Literally all you heard was, well, the boss fights could have been better. They could have had different enemies. What do they do in God of War Ragnarok? That's literally the biggest improvement that they made in this game. Still, you had people complaining. Like, this whole God of War 1.5 narrative, like, that junk actually started to get annoying to me. Because I feel like, and I hate to put Elden Ring into I don't want to talk about this game, but every year you have to where there are multiple great games that come out. Whatever game is more popular with gamers, they will then use that game to diminish or dumb down another great game. We've seen it in 2020 with Last of Us 2. Remember how like Last of Us 2, when that junk came out that year, I mean, you had people that loved the game, but then Ghost of Tsushima, a lot of people did not. People today still really have an issue with Last of Us 2. Remember how many people you had trying to like up Ghost of, and not saying that Ghost of Tsushima was a bad game, it was a great game, but remember how many people you had like trying to lift up that game only to diminish Last of Us 2, saying, oh, this is how you do great games. Like, we've seen examples like this throughout like history, and because Elden Ring was more popular with more gamers, and it was on almost every platform besides Switch, they were using Elden Ring to diminish God of War, and I just don't. Gamers are so hypocritical because we are the same suckers that would be like, bruh, this year was carried by this game or that game, or there's only like two good of games that came out. But yet, in a year to where you had God of War and Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West, whatever people want to say about that, like, people will use whatever game that they think was the best to diminish the other great games that came out. And that junk is so annoying to me. How can you call God of War Ragnarok God of War 1.5 and then in the same breath be excited for the next Zelda game to hit Switch? That makes zero sense to me, because yeah, there was really, you could say that God of War Ragnarok, as far as from a visual standpoint, looks the same as God of War 2018. It's still like literally one of the best looking games on next gen. The game is at 4K 60. Like, what the freak do you suckers want? Like, what do you like from the Notebook? What do you want? Because I literally feel like all of the things that people were saying to improve from God of War 2018 going into this game, they did, yet you still had, and I'm not saying this was everybody, but I just could not believe how many people you had trying to diminish the greatness that was God of War Ragnarok, only to uplift Elden Ring. Side quests were better, there was more interesting environments, there was more enemy variety, there were more boss fights, there were more weapons to use, there were different combat skills, the whole stuff with Atreus. A lot of my, and let me know how y'all felt. Like, some of my chat felt like the Atreus gameplay sections were boring like after a while. I didn't feel like that at all. I actually thought the gameplay sections to where you were playing with Atreus were very. I didn't expect playing with Atreus to be that fun. Like, I was actually like, yo. I mean, it wasn't like playing with Kratos. Like, there's like levels to this, but it was still very fun playing with Atreus. And like, you had suckers in my chat when I would stream the game being like, bro, this section dragging. Can we get back to Kratos? Like, bro, gamers are some. They be getting, bro. They be annoying me sometimes, bro. Just like, my God, like, what the freak? What the actual freak? So yeah, I thought the Atreus sections were good. The whole stuff to where like he can then turn into freaking bears and wolves. Like, that was the only time I was like, I don't feel like playing with Atreus right now. It was towards the very end, you know, to where you're in Asgard with Kratos, and then they switch back to Atreus. But then that's when you're able to turn into the bear and start playing with him. That was the only time I was like, I ain't trying to play. I ain't trying to play with Atreus right now. Outside of that, I thought they executed playing with Atreus greatly. I thought his character development was good. The whole stuff between him and Odin in the game, I thought that was interesting. I thought the twist to where Odin was freaking Tyr the whole freaking time was like, bruh. Like, the twist that they had in the game, Thor, the whole, you know, section of where, now I did think, you know, in the intro to where you fight Thor is like, holy freaking crap. But then after that, you don't really, you know, really see to like Kratos and Thor don't really, you know, cross paths again until like, you know, towards the end of the game. But, you know, the whole stuff with Thor, seeing how he was, and I will say again, I was wrong. Remember before this game came out and Thor was first revealed, and I'm like, look at this fat little sucker right here. You know, Thor very accurately depicted in this game. Like, seeing Thor in this game to me was kind of like how Thor was in Endgame, but like way more like realistic. Like, he was like, you know, someone who was still mighty and worthy, but this man had a lot of issues going on. Like, he had self-doubt, you know, he would always drink his freaking problems away. You know, he wasn't the most in shape dude, but you still didn't want to mess with this sucker. I thought Ryan Hurst was the perfect person to voice act Thor. Just that powerful voice, that presence. I thought Thor was great in this game. I didn't really like how he went out towards the end. Like, really? This is how he goes out? Within that second fight with him towards the end, to where like he's just pretty much just trying to fight Kratos because he has so much like built up rage and just all of the stuff that's going on with him and his wife and his kids and stuff like that. And Odin, all that was great, bro. So yeah, like, the only thing with this game that I felt, remember when people would say, "Oh, puzzle, oh, puzzle of war." It's puzzles everywhere in this game. Like, yes, this game at sometimes I do feel like kind of overdoes it with the puzzles, but all God of War games have had puzzles in them. It's just, you know, some have done it a little bit less, some have done it more. God of War, despite what some people think, you know, it's not just a hack and slash game 100% of the time. It does slow down every now and again, and they might throw some puzzles at of you. So that was one thing that I felt like, yeah, they did do a little bit too much of that. I don't know why they put, whose idea it was to bring back the freaking green birds. I was like, bro, they really thought this was a good idea to bring it back. That was like one thing, but bro, outside of that, if you literally sit down and look at God of War 2018 to Ragnarok, they literally improved almost everything. Like, it just gets to the point to where it's like, again, what the freak do you want? What do you want? So yeah, I mean, nothing has changed for me. God of War Ragnarok is my game of the year for last year. I thought the game was incredible. Very few games today can have you feeling like that. That's my review of God of War Ragnarok. You suckers can stop asking me now. That's how I felt. That's how I feel about the game. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about God of War Ragnarok, and let me know, about this whole like, debate between Elden Ring and, this game trying to, spit on one to uplift the other. Like, do y'all be getting tired of that stuff like I do? Like, it's just hypocritical to me. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Till the next video, my brothers. That's I'll catch you boys in my next one. All right.